So I would suggest that what in the 70s was recognized as pornography
Mm-hmm.
has been applied to all aspects of life. So a food commercial is, they puff them up and paint these things and make them so that they just look so amazing and delicious, and it's like this music, everything is presented in a highly stimulating and engaging way, to the extent that, so if you're on a dating site, you're just, and it literally has no meaning anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
is it really parents, or, and I'm not blaming technology because it's the human behavior,
Mm-hmm.
but can they do that because of a certain thing?
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you got your teenagers that parents still have somewhat control, um, then yeah, it's the parents or whoever's leading, guiding these people, teachers, everybody, society as a whole, right? But when you're getting into the adulthood of using LinkedIn as a dating site, to me, that's inappropriate.
Totally.
So I'm just saying, like, for me, I'm more interested on the adult performance. I don't know if kids, I don't work with kids, so I can't speak for them. I don't, I can only, what, as you said, is about what happens to her. But, I'm just looking at it as, LinkedIn is not a dating site. And we need to educate people to tell them that, look, this is not appropriate. And that's that, And so what you're saying is like, okay, social media, what's really brought about social media is that we have a broader reach in our worlds, right? We're international, global, right? But there are certain platforms, even LinkedIn should be stepping up and saying, okay, this is not appropriate behavior being on a platform. But they, for whatever reason, I haven't seen anything that they say, hey, this is whatever.
Well, I mean,
So,
yeah, I mean,
so you know what I mean? Like wherever we're playing, we have to play by the rules, whatever rules those are, those platforms. And as far as in LinkedIn, they should be stepping up, but obviously they're not. And so you guys have stepped up. So I'm just saying that, uh, how do we get people stop doing it? I guess if we keep talking about it, stepping up and saying, look, it's not appropriate, and telling people about it. Um, as far as children or young teenagers or whatever, somebody really needs to guide them
mm,
to, a better behavior, because they're
so
I have
just
a
doing
comment.
what everybody else is doing and everybody, they think that's cool. So, but it's not cool. And then one day they're going to realize it's too late. It's not cool. I'm like, oh my God, like, because once you post something on the internet, it's there forever.
mm,
So, you know, you have to stop to think about that.
you do, Gregory.
Yeah, no, it actually, that leads me to another thought that I've been having throughout this conversation. So, hey, some of this behavior starts when they're kids, and it's incumbent upon the parents to really be in that process to understand fully what's going on. And to some degree, maybe there's a hall pass for parents of earlier generations, a little bit, younger than me, perhaps, that have gone through this and they didn't know how harmful cell phones were, or how harmful the internet or some of these apps, dangerous they could be. But now we know. Okay, there's no excuse, and I think it comes down to a laziness on parents. They don't want to confront the issue. They're playing an app, they're fine, they're being quiet. I can have my conversation with my friend, or I can watch my show, or I can take care of my business, whatever that may be. And on the other end, I think from coaches, parents, teachers, and so forth, I think everyone is sort of passing the buck, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is, it's almost like, you see someone being assaulted on the street, and there's 20 people there, and nobody calls the police because they all think someone else is going to do it.
Right.
And I think some of that kind
Yeah.
of social phenomenon is happening in this situation. Well, someone else would do it.
Yeah.
I'm a parent. The teachers will do it, or the pastor will do it, or the church, or the coach, or whoever, and everyone's thinking someone else. No, it's the parents, and everyone's kind of pointing the finger and passing the buck.
Yeah.
Well,
And Yeah.
Well, see that then. Let me, and this is could be contentious. What is the panel's view on sex education? Because literally people lose their shit over the idea that relationship, just in terms of consent, you can play with dolls with a 5-year-old and explain and get ideas of that into their minds at a young age. But that would be probably at the very far end of the scale of probabilities for many people of faith, for many fathers of daughters who have this terrible discomfort knowing how men can be, and I suppose praying that nothing will happen. What was your view, Anusia?
I think, in my opinion, I think the relationships should be very friendly, daughters and fathers. So a father should have trust in her own daughter, like what says, like, but also some of the things now, mostly in teenage, you can see that sometimes you get diverted with kinds of influences you're around, with mostly the friends, if you get some wrong friend or wrong relationship, not only friend, like maybe you have involved with some guy. So these are things, you need to share, you need to communicate. You should have a very friendly, environment in your house, in your household, with your parents. So you share your problems, like, you should.
So,
So that will,
from what age? Because if 10-year-olds are asking for new pictures, they have been exposed to pornography because they get a smartphone by the time they're 7, because they're giving their parents old devices now. So how young do you think we should start teaching sex education in terms of age appropriate, not the mechanics of sex or anything like that for young people, children, but if you look at, so in Northern Europe, in Sweden, Scandinavia, their approach and attitude to sex and sexual education is entirely different, and they have a very different society, most of which is shown by their equality, sexual equality, pay equality, and it's also defined by their public services. So someone dive in on that.